This episode of NSC TV is brought to you by Leonora AAA, Bushrangers Brotherhood, Gilba Project Management, Geelong Firearm Courses, Hunters and Shooters Society of Australia, Ballarat Arms and Military Collectors Society, the Combined Firearms Council of South Australia, Auto Scratch, and Kilsyth Outdoor Store. Welcome to another episode of NSC TV, and thank you to our patient supporters and our sponsors for making this possible. Shooters in Western Australia have probably the worst gun laws in the nation. They've also got the highest costs and probably the most unfriendly government when it comes to shooters' interests. So shooters in Western Australia will be facing the next state election in 2025, and the NSC is looking to set up a political action committee to help shooters work through that. So we speak with Western Australia's David Finney about setting that up. So we hope you enjoy this episode, and don't forget, if you've got the skills and the commitment to help make this work, then please let us know at admin@nationalshooting.org.au. I have David Finney, a shooter from Western Australia, with me. How you doing, David?
Yeah, very well, thanks, Neil.
Good. So David, being a shooter, what do you do?
Well, I guess I've been a shooting for many years and covered a lot of disciplines, everything from muzzle loading to air guns to rifles, basically over a long period of time. And that history started as a kid in Scotland right through to a lot of time in South Africa.
Okay.
And now 30 odd years in Western Australia.
You shot everything and everywhere.
Yep.
Nice, okay. And David, the reason why we're talking today is because through people we know, we have obviously a fairly serious situation in Western Australia as far as shooters are concerned. I think it's on several fronts, and I think from sitting out east, it looks like you guys have really got, forget about the rewrite that's happening now, you actually have some pretty awful laws out west. Do you want to just give me a rundown of what you see as being the main problems?
Well, unfortunately, as I think you've touched on, we do have probably the worst laws in our state of any state in Western Australia. And there's always uncertainty about them. I mean, as you say, they've just revised them. But when you listen to recent radio discussions by the police commissioner, it would suggest that they're still looking at revising them. So it seems to be an ongoing, bit by bit, tightening up going on continuously.
Okay, so just to, I guess, try to characterise what some of the problems are, you've got a reclassification of firearms, which the police have just done with wholesale changes, and we've been able to challenge a couple of those at the Western Australian SAT. Your fees are higher, significantly higher than other states. In fact, we had a video where we looked at the transfer of a firearm. I think it was $256 in WA and $9.20 out east.
That's correct.
Mm-hmm. You've got a fairly gung-ho police minister who likes to has photographs taken of him holding gel blasters. And,
yes.
He-Man pose. Yeah.
Oh, yes. He always looks very tough with his plastic guns.
And I think, generally speaking, the relationship with the Western Australia Police, from what I'm seeing out here, is not great. And I think I could recently point to the fact that whilst I think the WA has had meetings with the police minister, they've not been able to even meet with the police commissioner, who is arguably a servant to the minister.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. It's certainly a worry that we don't get our voices heard very well. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. And also I have, I'm looking at a media release from the WA, where they're talking about the changes, the proposed gun reform, this is what it's called, where they've made every attempt to consult with the state government, have several meetings with the minister. But on radio, the president of WA over there tried to get a meeting with the police commissioner and was rebuked, which is a terrible situation, I'm afraid. Yep. When the regulator might talk to you.
Yep, we definitely don't seem to have their ear at the present, and you would almost believe that that's deliberate. They don't seem to want to do a lot of consultation.
Yeah, it sort of suggests to me that I'm not sure who's in control here, whether it's the minister or if it's actually the police commissioner who's actually leading the show here. Okay, so look, going forward, you've got a state election coming up in 2025.
Correct.
And the discussions that I've had with some people over there, we're keen to set up a thing called a political action committee. And you and I have spoken about this previously, as well as with others. So just for the information of anybody else, the political action committee really is there to raise funds to engage in political causes and political fights. It's just a political beast, basically, is what it is. Now, you've kindly offered to help to be part of that, as has one or two other people. But we need some real horsepower in terms of the committee, people who've got political experience. And I think in terms of what you would ask of, what do you want to see, what would you like this committee to be able to achieve? What sort of outcomes, dialogue with government, what sort of things, outputs do you think are the sort of things that you and other Western Australian shooters want to see?
Well, I think we definitely need to get someone who's going to ask. I mean, it's one thing having laws, and we all respect laws, but laws need to be appropriate for the circumstance. And what we're getting, unfortunately, is hype, which doesn't actually give us any indication as to whether these restrictions are necessary. We're just told that they're for the public good. Now, we don't have a major crime issue in Western Australia with firearms. I don't say we haven't got any, we have, but it's not on a scale that requires massive tightening. And these questions don't seem to be asked. It's just always for the public good.
Oh, well, the banter is we tougher gun laws, go tough on crime. That's basically...
And unfortunately, again, I'd also like to ask why they're targeting probably, shall we say, the softest and smallest portion of the community, when we know that a lot of the serious thefts of guns, etc., in Western Australia have been from some of the largest dealers. So, why are we targeting the small man?
And it would be awful if the government was to publish maps of the location of shooters' licenses, wouldn't it?
Which, unfortunately, they did, and it didn't take a rocket scientist to work out which suburb it was.
Yeah, so look, I think at this stage, what we really need are shooters who have got political experience. I mean, in terms of being subject matter experts, it's not about how much you know about shooting, it's really how much you know about the political environment. Because if we need expertise in gun collecting or hunting or whatever, we can always find it.
Sure.
But this is a really important fight, and you've now got 2.5 years roughly for us to be able to get this all together.
Yep, we definitely need to get more influence and be heard.
Okay, so David, thank you very much for your time today, and I really hope that we can go back with some good news about this committee fairly soon.
Good, thank you, Neil.
Okay, all right, see you later. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode of NCTV, and don't forget to share this with your mates and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're interested in joining a political action committee, then don't forget to drop us a line at admin@nationalshooting.org.au. See you later.